I'm so glad we're not doing this on Zoom. So glad. Woo! So, all of you, welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Sandeep. I'm the Dean of the School of Business at UW Bothell, and it's my privilege and honor to welcome all of you to this community, and just so happy to be gathering in person this year. And we wanted to thank each one of you for doing your part to keep us safe and healthy. And we have been very thoughtful about, having this party. And yes, it's turning out to be a party, right? So in open spaces, to be respectful of COVID and so on. I hope you feel safe and you're enjoying, connecting with old and new friends. And really, I feel like our community is growing. I feel like we've made new friends. Today, I see some young kids running around, so we have some future students starting at a young age. That's always great. But we are here with a very simple purpose, which is to support the students. And we are laser focused on supporting the students every year. We're going to do this next year, the year after that, the year after that, the year after that. And with one simple purpose, to give students scholarships and to support student success programs. That's all we do every year. And students. And I think some of you have noticed that our students have helped this time with parking. We had some supply chain students, manage the logistics of optimizing the parking lot for the maximum number of cars, adjusting for various geometries, of course. So that happened, and I was told that people are parked on the street. So if you had to walk a little bit to get here, thank you for your patience. And I know there's some neighborhood members here, so thank you all for allowing us in your neighborhood. And but mostly, it's my job again to repeat what has been said. I don't really see Tanya. Is Tanya? Fine. There's Tanya. Okay. But we have an exceptional Dean's Advisory Board. Lisa Sharples, who almost won the pie, is the chair. And thank you, Lisa. And thank you, Tanya, for really inviting us to your home. I mean, this is an extraordinary setting, and we're so honored to be here. So, Tanya, thank you. In case you did not know, Tanya is the proud owner of a restaurant called VV Pizzeria. It's in the Hollywood Schoolhouse District. So please support one of our community members, and the next time you're looking for Uber Eats, DoorDash, look for VV Pizzeria, VIVI. It's awesome, awesome pizza.
And she also wanted to say she did lose her phone as well just now, so that's why she was back in the house. So if you find it, let her know.
Okay. If you find the phone, it's Tanya's. Somebody, I think, already has found the phone, so that's awesome. So if you have not done so already, make sure that you complete the credit card slip. That's my job to tell you that. A staff member will collect them in a secure lockbox, and you will be charged, I think, tomorrow or day after. So it's not going to be instantaneous, but it's going to get done. So make sure you do that if you have not done that already. With that, it's my absolute pleasure to introduce yet another advisory board member who has been an exceptional partner, Christy Duffin. Christy Duffin is our gala chair this year. She is the Chief Technology Officer for Cascade Asset Management Company, the investment office of the Gates family and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Previously, she was head of global CRM at BlackRock. Christy has held a number of technology leadership positions with financial companies, managing in-house software development and technology infrastructure. She holds a BA and MBA from the UW Foster School of Business. She's been a member of our School of Business Advisory Board for more than 4 years, although it feels like much longer. And she has, recently a friend said that she is a person who is going to keep the calm when the tornado hits. And truly, it's been a pleasure to work with her, and she has kept us focused and organized in an extraordinary year. So with that, it's my pleasure. Christy, welcome.
Nice, David. That's the one we've been using all night. Good evening, everybody, and welcome again to the 6th Annual UW-Bothell School of Business Angala. I'm Christy Duffin, this year's Gala Chair. This is my 5th Angala as a guest, first as the chair. So I'd really like to thank all of our prior chairs. I think they're all actually here tonight, as well as all of Sandeep's staff who have been amazing and have made this whole process so smooth. And I would like to say again, I think we're all very excited to be here in real life. Zoom is fun, but it's much more pleasant to be here together in real life. And I think we have actually Tanya to thank for that. So I'm going to go ahead and thank Tanya again. I'll tell you, Tanya, without hesitation, offered her property to our gala when we talked about having an outdoor venue would be much safer and really lovely in the summertime. So Tanya, we have these flowers for you. We'd like you to put them in your home, even though your home is already gorgeous. It doesn't need them. Thank you so much. And then to continue with the thank yous, I'd like to thank the sponsors of this year's program. First of all, our impact sponsor, T-Mobile. Our gold sponsors, CBiz and Cascade Asset Management Company. Our purple sponsors, Simplicity Consulting, Tagboard, Clark Newber, Sweeney Conrad, and Tech Mahindra. Let me give them all some applause. And then we'll also put up on the screens the names of many more individuals and companies that have all generously given their support to help make tonight's event a big success. And then I'd also like to, we have a lot of people to thank, which is a good thing. I'd also like to extend a special thanks to the firms and employees of CBiz, Clark Newber, Sweeney Conrad, Falco Sult, Hagen Kurth and Perman, Deloitte, Cliff Larson Allen, and Moss Adams, who have all dedicated their sponsorships tonight to a new fund, the Ron and Gail Tilden Accounting Support Fund. Ron Tilden, who is now a retired professor, actually taught the very first accounting classes at UW-Bothell 20 years ago. He and his wife Gail created this new fund so that financial barriers wouldn't prevent students from pursuing a career in accounting. In honor of Ron's ongoing legacies, these firms have committed now to supporting even more students. And now I would like to invite Dara Sadri, Vice President of Consumer Business Operations at T-Mobile, our impact sponsor, to say a few words.
Thank you. Can't take me anywhere. I'm like jumping right in. I grabbed a plate earlier. Old habits die in. Thank you so much for the time, for coming out here, supporting the students, supporting the school. That's what this is all about. My name is Dara. I was a UW-B alumni, 2008, with a lot of folks that were in the room. Thank you. I also work at T-Mobile, which is the employer for a lot of UW-B alum, as well as a sponsor for a lot of mentorship programs that the university has put on, which I proudly support all along the way. There was some comments about, the school and Ron's fund. I had a class with Ron. He taught accounting. I only made it like 2 classes in, and I went to investments. But it was awesome. He's an awesome person. But that spirit of supporting students and supporting the passion for education is paramount. I say that because for myself, I came to the school as somebody that went through the Pell Grants, someone that was the first person in their family to go to college, somebody that was a minority in a place where, trying to find their way, and UW was a home for me. And I know it's been a home for a lot of other people that have come through the school. So tonight, have a ton of fun, support the school, be generous, open up your hearts, open up your wallets, have a great time, and thanks again for coming tonight.
Your wife is now deaf.
We won't do that again. All right, thank you so much, Dara.
Everyone's awake.
This year, our gala is celebrating advancing women in business, something UW-Bothell School of Business has been quite successful at. And tonight you'll hear from a couple of different women leaders, myself included, and a current UW-Bothell student about how we can build a more diverse and inclusive future. Every year, for me, well, pre-COVID, I used to travel to attend a business conference of my peers. It's actually where I met one of my guests tonight, hi, who was a predecessor to my current role. This conference was usually in Boston or New York City and hosted quite a specific set of attendees. These were technology heads, CTOs and CIOs at financial firms, people just like me. Yet every time, the few other women attending and I would marvel that there were no lines at the women's restroom. There just were not that many of us. I thought a lot about why that was. Maybe it's a lack of role models, maybe a lack of desire to enter the field. I think that's kind of unlikely. More than likely, there's a lot of factors at play. But one big one, I believe, is the inertia of sameness. That's just the way it's been, so it tends to stay that way. The vision of leadership with few women around looks male. Early in my career, my strategy to succeed was sameness, to go along with the boys. I assumed that to be successful, I had to lead like the bad stereotype, kicking butt and taking names. But as you can see, I'm terrible at that. That's not comfortable, it's not genuine, and it certainly didn't leverage the strength of my differences. Now I can say, spurred on by social movements, by change makers, I think most of us believe that differences or diversity is something to value in and of itself. That my approach to leadership, while not typical of what I had seen before, was successful and did bring results. I should lead my way. I think these past almost 2 years have been tough, but I think they've made us purposeful. We can build better teams, we can grow better companies, we can staff better boards, seeking out the expertise of people that think differently. From what I've seen, the UW-Bothell School of Business actively supports differences. They have a culture of inclusivity. Diversity is one of their core values. The School of Business is connecting students that might not have even had a clear path to college to great careers at companies right here in the Pacific Northwest. And through events like tonight, they're helping make business education accessible and available to anyone with the drive and desire. 50% of students at UW-Bothell's MBA and MSA programs identify as women. That's compared to 39% annually, nationally. And their business students are eager to make diversity a priority in their careers. Bothell's student-led Women in Business Club and Professional Network has added more than 100 new student members just this past year. And their graduates remain involved long after they graduate through groups like the Women's Alumni Council. So I encourage you to support these students and future students by bidding up these auction items, raising your paddle high, and bringing these amazing students to your firm as future leaders. Thank you so much. And now I would like to introduce our keynote speaker, Lisa Hufford, a fellow advisory board member and a recent new author. Lisa is the founder and CEO of Simplicity Consulting, connecting companies with management, marketing, and communication consultants that they need to operate at speed and scale. Lisa was formerly a sales director at Microsoft and brings her expertise in sales and management to Simplicity Consulting, which I hear recently celebrated a 15-year anniversary as a woman-owned and run business. Lisa also recently published a book called Work Your Way, and she is going to share some of her highlights about the future of work. She also has here a limited number of signed books to give away, so please be sure to contact her after. Please join me in welcoming Lisa.
Hi, everybody. How's everybody doing?
Good.
All right. Are you guys ready to talk about the future of work and you? This is such a hot topic right now. I think everything I read, every conversation I have is about how we're working. For those of you running businesses, for those of you leading teams, for those of you looking for work, looking for new jobs, the students, this topic covers everything. So I'm going to touch on some very high-level points here in just a few minutes. And let's acknowledge where we are right now. We are in the middle of probably the greatest workforce transformation ever. And the reality is, nobody knows how it's really going to shake out, right? We keep hearing about the variant, which is leaving us in this place of, are we going to work? Is it hybrid? Is it remote? I mean, it literally makes your head spin every day, doesn't it? Like I just saw as I was coming in today, right, that now the president has mandated companies over 100 employees have to require vaccinations. And I thought, okay, I can't think about that right now. So if you own a company, you're probably thinking about that too. What does that mean? That's another thing to manage. So look, we are in a moment where we have to be resilient. We all know this. We've been here for the last 18 months, and it's not going away. And this has so many implications when we think about the leaders and we think about employees. So, on the manager and the leader side, the things that we're thinking about are employee safety. They're thinking about productivity, about the wellness of employees, among other things, right? On the employee side, they're questioning, do I want to do this kind of work? Do I want to work in this way? Do I want to live here? Do I want to move somewhere else? Do I want to create a life because I've never had these options to really choose how and where I want to work? And it reminded me a lot of, the book I just wrote. It's called Work Your Way, and it's really a playbook for people, for professionals who are leaving their corporate roles and teaching them how to transition to consulting. This is what I've taught for the last 15 years, and this is my journey leaving Microsoft and becoming a consultant. And the reason I left wasn't because I didn't like Microsoft. Microsoft's an amazing company, but I wanted flexibility. I just had my second son, and I didn't want to continue to travel. So flexibility was very personal to me. And that time in my life, the only option I saw was either continue to work and climb the ladder and probably not see my kids very often, or not work at all. And I wanted something in the middle. And I just thought I was unique in that way. So I took myself off to the corporate ladder, started consulting right back to Microsoft, still work with Microsoft. They're our largest company that we love. But since then, thousands of people have approached me and said the same thing. So here we are today. I've been really reflecting on the last 18 months. We've all been working our way. So what does that mean as we've been discovering working our way, and how can we better communicate that to our employers? And how can our employers also ensure and ask questions about what does that mean to ensure productivity and mental health, truly, as we all kind of navigate this new world of work. And here's why it's important. This is a recent statistic. There's a lot of statistics out there, but this one really caught my attention. 82% of professionals plan to quit their job over the next 6 months, with 31% of them saying they would quit without another job lined up. I mean, what? That's shocking. So what's going on is people are looking for options. People are thinking about their jobs in new ways. And while I'm not sure that we're going to see that big of a transition, but again, who knows, there are things I think we can do as leaders when you're thinking about a manager, for you managers and owners in the room. These create a lot of questions. I know for me, as the CEO of my company, I think a lot about, so what does retention really mean in this new world of work? Maybe it's not the old ways of just having ping pong tables and beers on tap, or what does retention mean? It's all changed in how we think about retaining our talent. How do we become an employer of choice? Employer brand is so much more important now than it's ever been. You want to attract the best talent. That means you might have to do things in different ways. So how do we attract and retain great talent? I think I would think everyone in this room is probably thinking about these things in some way, shape, or form. So here's some inspiration, some strategies. And I hope what I leave you with today, these are things I think about a lot, and I hope they really inspire you to maybe think about as well. A recent HBR article titled, What Your Future Employees Want Most, and these 3 strategies, flexibility, impact, and diversity, are really what I've observed as well. So let's talk about flexibility. Flexibility is personal, as I told you about my story. And I think the most important thing is to listen to employees about where they're at. Flexibility changes over our lives. We all know we have life transitions. There's births of children, there's deaths of parents, there's moving of geography. At different periods of our careers and our lives, we need flexibility in different ways. Sometimes I might feel more connected to an employer because I can work remote, but other times I really want to feel connected to a team and I want to lead a team. So I want to be in person, right? Everyone's different. Not So when you think about flexibility, yes, it includes how we're going to work as far as, are we in office, are we remote, are we hybrid, is it part-time, is it full-time, is it certain hours of the day? Of course, those things are important to consider, but there's also so many considerations around flexibility. So how do you think about flexibility? If you're a leader of your team, what does flexibility mean to you and to the different roles in your organizations? We all know that some roles are more naturally flexible than others. So how do you think about that? And are you being equitable in how you're thinking about kind of making sure that flexibility is offered in an equitable way across your organization? These are really big questions that we've never really had to grapple before. But I think that if we do this right together, we can create a whole new world of work that works really well for everybody, which really leads to the second point, which is impact. People want to make impact, and this is really based on outcomes. It's not based on output, it's not activity anymore, it's about the outcomes. It's the value to the organization. And that when I mentor students all the time, this is what I say, and this is the business owner in me talking, you should be able to talk about the difference and the impact you're making to that owner's business. When you go to your manager, don't just tell them all the stuff you did, tell them how you impacted the business, whether that drove sales, whether that reduced cost, whether you added with your positive attitude to the team culture. It could be so many different things. But we have to all add impact in our own unique way. This leads to productivity. And this is why there's a lot of studies about how the productivity has improved in the last 18 months, because people are finding their own way to really add their own impact, whatever that means to them. And so thinking about this for your organization, what does impact look like? What is the role that you want to see, the outcome of every role in your organization? And are you clear? As a leader, are we being clear with our employees about what is the contribution to the organization? Every single role provides a really important contribution. And my job, I say this to my team all the time, is I want to make sure every single person knows how their work impacts the broader organization. So to me, that's impact. And then the last but not least, diversity. We all know this is so important, and diversity means so many things. You could think about diversity as far as ethnic, racial, there's geographic, gender, religious. There's so many ways to think about diversity. So what does it mean for your organization? Have you defined what diversity means? And have you looked at roles and ensure that the way you communicate your diversity goals are clear? And are you measuring them? Again, there's no one right way. Every organization is different, and every one of us is at a different place, kind of at different times. But these are things to think about as you're thinking about your employer brand and really attracting talent. Because what we know for sure today is employees want to work in a diverse environment. They want diversity. And they don't just want to see it in the employer brand messaging. They want to really experience it and feel it in the culture. So there's a lot of big questions around this one too to think about diversity. So to sum it up, the future of work is up to you. It's up to each and every one of us. We in this room are the change makers. We can make a difference. And at the end of the day, let's create a more diverse, inclusive working world for all of us. Thank you. Now I'm super excited to kick it off with the live auction. Hand over to Stephen.
All right, thank you very much. That's the most important line of the